Hello students, welcome to this online session. This online session is conducted by Rate Shikshan Samstha's Sadguru Gadge Maharaj College Karad under the ROSE project. Myself, Mrs. Zadge SR, conducting here the topic Origin and Evolution of Life, and this is our last lecture, that is sixth lecture of this topic Origin and Evolution of Life. In previous lecture, we have seen the different evidences, that is paleontological evidences, then molecular evidences and evidences from the comparative anatomy. Okay. Now, in today's lecture, we are going to see the different points such as geological time scale, then major divisions of the geological time scale, human evolution, place of humans in class Mammalia, and special characteristics which are acquired by man in the course of evolution. So, in this today's last lecture of this topic, we are going to see first here from origin of Earth up to the development of the human being. The geological time scale was developed, and the major divisions of geological time we have to study, and afterwards the detailed information about the human evolution we have to study. So let us start our first point of today's discussion, that is known as the geological time scale. So what is mean by geological time, that we have to discuss first. The total lifespan of the earth from the time of its origin is called as the geological time. That means here we have to consider the total lifespan of the earth from the time of its origin, when the earth is originated, up to that total lifespan of the earth we have to consider, that is known as the geological time. And according to the fossils present on the rocks, the geologists have divided the geological time into the intervals. So the fossils were discovered in the different geographical regions, and these fossils are present on the rocks, and accordingly here the geologists are dividing this geological time scale into the intervals. The major division of this geological time, it is known as the eras. So the first major division of this geological time scale, it is known as the eras. Then these eras are divided into periods and the periods into epochs. So the eras are divided into the periods and the periods are divided into the epochs. Okay. And hence here these eras, periods, epochs are arranged on the time scale in order of their age, and this arrangement is called as the geological time scale. So what happens here, you see that total lifespan of the earth was first here considered as the geological time, and this geological time is divided into first eras, then eras are divided into periods are divided into epochs, and accordingly here these eras, periods and epochs are arranged on this time scale in order of their age, and such arrangement here it is called as the geological time scale. And here in this geological time scale, the various eras are Azoic, Archaeozoic, Proterozoic, Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. So these are the six eras which we can observe on this geological time scale. The first era, that is known as the Azoic era, the second Archaeozoic era, the third Proterozoic era, fourth Paleozoic era, fifth Mesozoic era, and sixth Cenozoic era. So today the era of this earth, it is known as the Cenozoic. Let us see the detailed information about this geological time scale. So here the geological time scale is dividing era. Eras are divided into period and periods are divided into epoch. We have to study from the first era. So here you can observe the first era, it is known as the Azoic. Then the second era, it is known as the Archaeozoic. Then third era, it is known as the Proterozoic. Then fifth era, Paleozoic. This Paleozoic era is divided into these periods. The first period, Permian, second Carboniferous, third Devonian, then Silurian, Ordovician, and Cambrian. So during this development of Earth from the origin, the first era is Azoic, second Archaeozoic, third Proterozoic, and fourth Paleozoic. And in this Paleozoic, the periods, the first period is Cambrian, second period is Ordovician, third period is Silurian, fourth Devonian, fifth Carboniferous, and sixth is the Permian. Okay. Then next era here, that is known as the Mesozoic. This is again divided into three periods. The first period is Triassic, second period is Jurassic, third period is Cretaceous, and lastly the Cenozoic era, that is sixth number of era, which is again divided into two periods. The first period it is Tertiary, and second period it is known as the Quaternary. And these periods, Tertiary period and Quaternary periods, are again divided into epochs. In Tertiary we can observe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 epochs. So in Tertiary we can observe 5 epochs. The first epoch it is known as the Paleocene, second epoch Eocene, third epoch Oligocene, fourth epoch Miocene, fifth epoch Pliocene. Okay, and in Quaternary period only two epochs are there. So in Quaternary we can observe two epochs. The first epoch is known as the Pleistocene and second epoch is known as the Holocene. So this is the total geological time scale we can observe from origin of earth up to this time. So very ancient time, the first era, Ozoic era, second Archaeozoic and third Proterozoic, these are not showing any period or not showing any epoch. Then Paleozoic era, it is showing here six periods: Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous and Permian. The Mesozoic era is divided into three periods: Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous. These are not divided into epochs again here. And Cenozoic is divided into period, Tertiary period and Quaternary period. Tertiary is divided into these five epochs: Paleocene, Eocene, Oligocene, Miocene, Pliocene, and in Quaternary, Pleistocene and Holocene. Okay, so which organisms were developed during this period or during this epoch or during this era, that we have to discuss here. Next point. So we have to see here first era, that is Cenozoic period, Quaternary, and then Tertiary. The time is given here in this third column. It is million years ago. So the Quaternary period is recent period here, 0.1 to 0.6 million years, and the epoch is the recent Holocene, where the plant life shows development of the angiosperm, and in animal life presence of age of mammals and modern man we can observe in this recent Holocene epoch. Then 0.6 to 2 million years ago, Pleistocene epoch is there, where from plant herbs were developing and in animal primitive man was developing. Then in Tertiary period, about 2 to 13 million years ago, Pliocene epoch is there, coniferous plants were developed and origin of man was taking place. Then 13 to 26 million years ago, Miocene epoch is there, showing deciduous tree development, and from animal here, apes and spread of mammals we can observe during this period and during this epoch. Then 26 to 38 million years ago, Oligocene epoch is there, showing monocot development and apes and monkey development. Then next epoch is Eocene, which is about 38 to 54 million years ago. The plant life, it is showing dicot plants and placental mammals were developed during this epoch. And in Cenozoic era, the last epoch, that is Paleocene, which is about 54 to 65 million years ago, showing again here development of the angiospermic plants and development of the early primates we can observe during this epoch. So in Cenozoic era, in Quaternary period and in Tertiary period, these are the different epochs, and during these different epochs the plant life is developed in this manner and the animal life is developed in this manner, that we can observe. Okay, then next era, that is Mesozoic, it is again divided into these three periods: Cretaceous, Jurassic and Triassic. Cretaceous period is about 65 to 135 million years ago, and here the first angiosperm is developed. And during this Cretaceous period we can observe the extinction of dinosaurs, means dinosaur like organisms were present on this earth but they become extincted during this Cretaceous period, that you have to remember. Then Jurassic period, it is about 135 to 165 million years ago, during which the coniferous plants were developed. And in animal we can see the age of reptile. So huge reptiles were developed at this Jurassic period. Then Triassic period, it is about 165 to 225 million years ago. The gymnospermic plants were developed, and at this time rise of dinosaurs we can observe. So during this Mesozoic era, the Triassic and Jurassic period shows development of these huge reptiles like dinosaurs. But in the Cretaceous period, the dinosaurs are becoming extincted. That you have to remember. Okay. Then next era we have to discuss, that is Paleozoic era. In that there are 6 periods. So the recent period is known as the Permian, which is about 225 to 280 million years ago. At this time, origin of conifers we can observe from the plant side, and the rise of insects in the animal life. Then second period, that is Carboniferous period, which is having 280 to 345 million years ago period. And at this time the pteridophytes were developed and amphibians and reptiles were developed. Then the next period here, Devonian, which is about 345 to 400 million years ago. At this time forest formation we can observe and development of the fishes we can observe. Then Silurian, which is about 400 to 440 million years ago. The algae were developed, and here in the first animal life, here first terrestrial animals development we can observe. Then Ordovician period, it is about 440 to 500 million years ago period, and here seedless vascular plants were developed at this period, and first vertebrate organism is developed in the animal life. Then Cambrian period, here 500 to 590 million years ago, and at this time the marine algae were developed and invertebrate organisms were developed. So this is all about this Paleozoic era, which are showing these 6 periods, and during these 6 periods how the plant life is getting developed or evaluated, and how the animals are getting evaluated, that we can see here in this tabular format. Then the next here era, that is the Proterozoic era. In this Proterozoic era we can observe the time, that is 600 to 1600 million years ago. During this protist organism and blue-green algae were developed from the plant life, and in animal life flatworm, sponges and coelentrates, those were evolved. Then Archaeozoic, about 1600 to 3800 million years ago. No fossil record observed during this period, and viruses and bacteria are developing on this earth during this period, that is 1600 to 3800 million years ago. And last year Azoic era, which is about 3800 to 4600 million years ago, where on this earth there will be no life. There was no life during this Azoic era. Hence the name is given here Azoic. And here chemical evolution and formation of earth was taking place during this era, that is Azoic, that is about 3800 to 4600 million years ago. So accordingly we can observe here during this development of the earth from this era, Azoic, Archaeozoic, Proterozoic, Paleozoic, then Mesozoic and Cenozoic. From the formation of earth up to the Cenozoic era, how the development of plant life and how the development of animal life was taking place on this earth, that we can study with the help of this geological time scale. Okay, so you have to remember in which period which organisms were developed or evolved. On that questions may be asked on the exam, in the exam. Okay, now the next point, that is human evolution. How the human evolution is occurred. So here it has been traced that human evolution appeared to have evolved from a tree dwelling shrew-like animal. So firstly here what has been traced, that human evolution is occurred human evolution was occurred from a tree dwelling shrew like animal. So here you can see this tree dwelling shrew like animal. This is the tree dwelling shrew like animal. These are the first ancestors, we can say, or from these organisms the human evolution may occurred, that has been traced, and this human evolution was taking place here, or it is began in the Paleocene epoch. So this point also you have to remember. Then during this evolution, arboreal mammals may get adapted to life on the land. So what happens here during the evolution of the human? The arboreal mammals, that means the mammals which are living on trees, those are known as the arboreal mammals. The organisms which are living on the trees, those are known as the arboreal, and arboreal mammals are getting adapted to the life on the land, and humans are most closely related to the gibbons, chimpanzees and gorillas. So during the evolution from these arboreal mammals, these mammals are adapted to life on the land, and after some years the different organisms are developed, that is gibbons, chimpanzees and gorillas, from which the humans are evolved, that we can observe here. So humans are mostly closely related to these organisms. Okay, now the next point here we have to see the place of human in class Mammalia. You have already learned the classification of kingdom Animalia in 11th standard, and in that class Mammalia characteristics you have studied, and here we have to study the place of human in class Mammalia. So class Mammalia is divided into three types. The first is known as the marsupials, the second is known as the monotremes, and third is known as the eutherians. So these are the three different groups which are coming under the class Mammalia. The first is known as the marsupials, which are known as the pouched mammals. Here example you can see kangaroo. Then monotremes, which are also known as the egg laying mammal. Here example egg laying mammal is the duck-billed platypus. And third group here eutherians, that is placental mammals. The mammals which are developing placenta during the pregnancy, that is known as the placental mammals. So the class Mammalia is divided into these three groups: marsupials, monotremes and eutherians. And here in eutherians order primate is there, and in order primate suborder prosimy and suborder anthropoidea we can observe. And again here this order primate is divided into suborder prosimy and suborder anthropoidea. This suborder anthropoidea is again divided into next groups. But before that, here suborder prosimy is divided into lemurs and tarsiers. The same way here suborder anthropoidea is divided into new world monkeys having long tail, example squirrel monkey, spider monkey. Then old world monkey having short tail, here examples are baboons, macaques, langur. And hominoidea, these are the tailors, example here great apes. So you can observe here in this way the classification of Mammalia is taking place. And here from this hominoidea we can again observe the three different groups: Hyalobatidea showing arboreal apes, gibbons. Then second Pongidae, which are showing semi-arboreal apes, gorilla, chimpanzee, orangutan. And third here hominidae showing erect posture and human beings. So during the classification of this class Mammalia we can observe here the human beings are placed under this group hominidae. This hominidae is grouped under this hominoidea, which is again grouped under the suborder anthropoidea, which is grouped under this order primate, and this order primate is coming under the eutherians. So in this way we can observe the place of human in the class Mammalia. You can see here in one chart class Mammalia, it is divided into three groups: marsupials, pouched mammals, monotremes, egg laying mammals, eutherians, placental mammals. This is eutherians are showing one order primate, which is divided into suborder prosimy, suborder anthropoidea. This prosimy is showing lemurs and tarsiers. Suborder and Anthropoidea is divided into New World monkeys, Old World monkeys, Hominoidea. And from Hominoidea, Hyalobatidea, Pongidae and Hominidae. These are the three groups, and here we can observe the human beings. So human beings are showing such type of place in this whole classification. I am showing here. These are the places of human. Class Mammalia, then Eutherians, placental mammal, order primates, suborder Anthropoidea, then Hominoidea and Hominidae. So in this way we can observe the place of humans in this class Mammalia. Now we have to discuss the different characteristic features. Before that, how the evolution of primates occur, we can see here with the help of this diagrammatic representation. Here the first primate organisms are developed by these organisms, lemurs, Prices, potos. These are the organisms considered as the lemurs, or we can call it as a New World monkey. Then these are the tarsiers. New World monkey. No. These are the lemurs and tarsiers. The first and second group from this primate. Then New World monkeys are developed. Then Old World monkeys are developed. Then gibbon-like organism, orangutan-like organism, gorillas, chimpanzees, and finally the humans are developed. So in this way the evolution of primates was occurring, and recently the human beings were developed on this earth. This is the evolution of primates from lemurs up to the humans. Okay. Now we have to discuss the special characteristics which are acquired by the human in course of evolution. The first characteristic, that increase in size and complexity of brain, enhanced intelligence and increase in cranial capacity. So the typical characteristic features which were acquired by human, that the brain size and complexity is increased, as well as intelligence is also increased and cranial capacity is also increased. Then bipedal locomotion, that means humans are able to walk on two legs, that is known as the bipedal locomotion. Then opposable thumb and erect posture, these are the special characteristics. Then shortening of forelimbs and lengthening of hind limbs. So the forelimbs are getting shortened and hind limbs are getting lengthened. Okay. Then development of chin, broadening of the pelvic girdle, development of lumbar curvature, social and cultural development. So these are the different special characteristic features which were occurred in the man during the course of evolution, and from apes modern man was developed. Then articulated speech, art, development of tools. So simultaneously here the speech was articulated in the human, the different kinds of arts and the development of tools was made by this human. So these are the special characteristics which we can observe. From that, here the cranial capacity of the human beings increased and large size of frontal lobe helped in the development of high forehead. So during the course of evolution, what happens here, the cranial capacity is increased, and due to which here frontal lobe development is taking place and showing development of the high forehead we can observe. Then increase in intelligence and physical development of body and brain, it be used effectively and productively. So during the course of evolution, simultaneously the increase in intelligence taking place and also the physical development of the body and brain taking place, which were used effectively and productively during the course of evolution. Then freedom of forelimbs and opposable thumb led to better utilization of hands for holding the objects effectively and development of the motor skills. So in human we can use the forelimbs freely, and the opposable thumb, that thumb is opposable, and hence we can handle the objects, we can hold the objects in our hand, and we can develop different kinds of skill such as writing, painting, drawing, or cooking, or any other skill which we can use with the help of this opposable thumb and the free forelimbs. Okay. Then bipedal locomotion, upright posture, along with the stereoscopic vision helped man to move around safely on the land. So we can use the two legs for our locomotion, that is known as the bipedal locomotion, And upright posture, we can stand with our two legs, upright posture, and along with the stereoscopic vision, that means with the help of eyes we can see very easily around us, and therefore we can move around safely on the land. So these are the different characteristic features which were developed in the human during the course of evolution, and from apes or from the ancestors the modern man was developed. So let us see here how the human evolution is occurred. Evolutionary history of man was traced with the help of fossils remain found over a period of time, and there was a gradual increase in cranial capacity, shape of skull, dentition of the ancestral human till date. So here we can see the tabular information about the human evolution. These are the different ancestors of this human. You can see Dryopithecus, Ramapithecus, Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthal man, and Homo sapien. This is known as the modern man. We are all humans are under this group, Homo sapiens. So here the first point we have to discuss related the appearance. Dryopithecus are ape-like, Ramapithecus are man-like, Australopithecus are known as the connecting link between ape and man, Homo habilis are known as the handyman, Homo erectus are known as the ape man, Neanderthal man are known as the advanced prehistoric man, and Homo sapiens are known as the modern man. Here, the next point here, where these fossils were recorded of these different uh, humans which were present at the ancient life. So, site of fossil record, Dryopithecus fossils were recorded in Lake Victoria of Africa, Hartal Ganga, Himachal Pradesh. Then Ramapithecus fossils were discovered Shivalik Hills in India and in Kenya. Then Australopithecus fossils were discovered in Tong in South Africa and Ethiopia, Tanzania. Then Homo habilis, Olduvai Gorge, Tanzania in Africa. Homo erectus, Java and Peking. Neanderthal man in Neanderthal Valley, Germany. And Homo sapiens fossils were recorded from the Africa. Then in which period, in the geological time scale, in which period these organisms were observed, that we have to see here. The Dryopithecus are present in Miocene epoch, that is about 20 to 25 million years ago. Again, Ramapithecus are showing Miocene period, early Pliocene epoch, that is 14 to 20 million years ago. Australopithecus was showing late Pliocene or early Pleistocene epoch, that is during 4 to 1.8 million years ago. Homo habilis are present in late Pliocene or early Pleistocene, that is about 2.5 to 1.4 million years ago. Homo erectus were present in the middle of Pleistocene epoch, that is 1.5 million years ago, and the Neanderthal man late Pleistocene epoch, that is 1 lakh to 40,000 years ago. And after 40,000 years we can observe the development of this Homo sapien, that is the modern man are developed. Okay. Then next point here, the skeletal features, that means the fossils which were discovered, accordingly the skeletal features are given here. No skeletal features we can observe, or no fossil was recorded of this Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus. But in Australopithecus we can observe not taller than 4 feet, jaws are larger, prognathous face, chin is absent, lumbar curvature is present. These are the characteristic features of these organisms. Then Homo habilis, lower jaw, lightly built, dentition more like the modern man, and smaller molars. Homo erectus are showing 5 feet height, prognathous face, massive jaws, huge teeth, chin absent, bony eyebrow ridges are present. In Neanderthal man, we can observe heavy built, short prominent brow ridges, low forehead, deep jaws, chin absent, outwardly curved thigh bones. So these are the some characteristic features which are related to this modern man we can observe. And the posture here, Dryopithecus are showing semi-erect posture, Ramapithecus erect posture, Australopithecus upright posture, and from Homo habilis, all these are showing erect posture. Okay, that means they are standing on the two legs. Then cranial capacity here, The Australopithecus are showing 450 to 600 cc, that is cranial capacity. Then Homo habilis 650 to 800 cranial capacity. Homo erectus 900 cranial capacity. Neanderthal man 1400 cranial capacity. Homo sapiens 1450 cranial capacity. Okay, and special features we can observe here. The Dryopithecus are showing close similarity to the chimpanzee. Australopithecus are known as man with ape brain. That point you have to remember. Then Homo habilis did not eat meat, made tools from the stones and nicknamed as the handyman. Then Homo erectus probably ate meat. That means they are eating the meat. They are omnivorous, might have used fire. Then Neanderthal man used a hide, buried their dead, constructed flint tools. And lastly, the Homo sapiens developed a distinct races, development of caves and development of art was taking place in this Homo sapiens about 18,000 years ago. So we can observe these different characteristic features of these groups from Dryopithecus to Homo sapiens. Okay. Now here we have to discuss, or we have to first see here four different apes which are present nowadays and along with the man. So this is the first ape which was present or which is present on this earth, gibbon, then orangutan, gorilla, chimpanzee, and lastly human. These four apes we can observe nowadays. Rest of the apes are not present on this earth. Okay. So in this way here human evolution is taking place. The Dryopithecus, Ramapithecus, Australopithecus, Homo erectus, Neanderthal men, Cro-Magnon man and modern man. In this way from ancient time the human evolution was occurred. Okay. Then here the last modern man, Homo sapiens, all the human beings existing today on the earth. Now the last point we have to discuss, that is the sequence of human evolution. So the sequence we have to remember for the examination point of view. The first human, that is known as the Dryopithecus, second Ramapithecus, third Australopithecus, fourth Homo habilis or handyman, then Homo erectus, which is also known as the Java man or pecking man, then Homo neanderthalensis, which is known as the Neanderthal man, then Cro-Magnon man, which is known as the Homo sapiens fossils, and lastly we can see here Homo sapiens sapiens. So this is the sequence of this human evolution. On this sequence many questions were asked in the NEET exam or CET exam. So this chart is very important. Also the cranial capacity of these all different stages of human we have to see. So the first human stage here, human habilis handyman, showing cranial capacity 800 cc. Homo erectus Java man showing 940 cc. Homo erectus pecking man showing 850 to 1200 cranial capacity. Homo neanderthalensis Neanderthal man showing 1450 cranial capacity. Then Homo sapiens fossils, that is Cro-Magnon man, showing 1600 cranial capacity. And lastly the modern man, that is Homo sapiens sapien, that means all the human beings which are present on this earth till up to date, they are showing 1400 cranial capacity. So in this way the human evolution was occurred on this earth, and nowadays all the humans which are present are known as a Homo sapiens sapiens. Okay. So in this way this is the last lecture. We have completed the geological time scale of the earth, the different eras, periods and epochs of this geological time scale, and how the human evolution is occurred. Okay. So in this way the topic origin and evolution of life we have completed. Thank you for watching the lectures. Take care. Thank you once again.